Freaks podcast.
And this is Mr. Glee.
Hey, thank you for joining us today. We got a special guest in today, Thommy Lewis from Square Footage Building Maintenance, and he's here today and give us a drop some juice and tell us about his business. And which, if you would mind, maybe introduce yourself and just tell us tell us about you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Thommy Lewis with Square Footage Maintenance and Remodeling. And yes, we do building maintenance as well. It's urban to put. I told you guys, but native here, and just blessed to be here and with the podcast. And we're gonna drop some jewels. So I hope y'all ready for this, because we're gonna drop some serious.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good day.
Know this brother for a long time. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you would tell us a little bit about your business or business.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm one of the proprietors of Square Footage Maintenance and Remodeling. What we do is we renovate houses, we provide maintenance for a lot of people around Nashville, a lot of companies, HOA associations, things like that. But the majority of our business is we're not limited to building new construction or simply remodeling for ourselves or private investors, the general public. So, that's what we do. The gist of it is we just go in there and tear it up, make it look good.
That's what's I seen some of the pictures.
Oh, we just real good work. Real good work. The crazy thing is that in our business, being a black entrepreneur, in our business, we have to be 2 to 3 times better than anybody else just to compete. So we take a lot of pride in what we do in our finished products. So, we go a little bit over and beyond what the normal expectations would be. Whether it's changing the light bulb all the way to tearing your walls down and rebuilding and putting a new kitchen bathroom in. So we take a lot of pride in what we do, because we got to be twice as better than our competitors just to compete on that stage. One job at a time, cranking them out.
You remind me of what my mother told me, and especially I'm growing up in the 70s, or from the 70s. Definitely, that's what she told me. Sometimes you have to be better than other ethnic groups. Sometimes you got to be better. Yeah.
Unfortunate that we have to display, go over and beyond. But at the same time, I always thought that if you really want it, go after it. Especially when you're branding your company. It's really important in that process. When you're branding your company, really getting your company's name out there and around people. You want to take that type of expectation with you. And not only take that expectation with you, but you want to be able to stand by that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be able to stand by it. So you're already in a position where, especially in my industry, people invite us into their homes.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you came up where I came up, you ain't coming to the front door without calling. You better not pull up in my
what
house.
You said.
But we have that opportunity to go into individuals' homes.
Yeah.
And we have to have a certain amount of professionalism about ourselves, mannerisms, things like that. We're going to be ourselves, but, we ain't going to be, yes men or nothing like that. But at the same time, we got to carry ourselves because we're representing a brand. And I expect that out of myself. I expect that out of my co-workers, colleagues, subcontractors that work for me. I don't care if they got their own company shirts on when they're on my job site. They work for me. And
that's right.
I expect the same type of quality, professionalism from anybody that's going to network or associate themselves with my brand. You know what I mean? So that's something we had to establish, and something we got to carry out. That thing right there can't be lazy. It can't be a Monday, Tuesday thing. It has to be a consistency in how you present your business and to other people. You know what I mean? So that's where we are with that one.
That's a good one. What gave you the idea, or if that's what gave you the idea to start your own business, or become an entrepreneur?
Truthfully speaking, I think it was a lot of reasons why I started it, but I think the motivation behind why I actually chose to do it was I got too many kids. You know, I got too many kids, man. I mean, we can speak. Can we speak freely?
Yeah, please, almost definitely.
I came up in the 70s. I like women.
Yeah.
And I chose to have a lot of kids a lot early. I'm not, I don't regret those decisions. Had I had an opportunity to do it all over again in another life, I would do it the traditional way. I would have waited because I would have avoided so many pitfalls. I would have avoided so many pitfalls, bad relationships and failed relationships and things that really just, in hindsight, slowed down my trajectory. Slowed my trajectory down. And I think I would have just waited. I would establish myself first as a man, and establish myself financially, spiritually grounded and financially, and then I would have chose the right woman to have these kids by, as opposed to having,
kids with a woman you dating.
Yeah, by women, women I just, frequently.
We been there, done
but nevertheless, I thank God for no shade, seriously, no shade. All my kids are blessed. I got 10 of them.
Okay, there was a guy, brother, sitting in that chair. He had 9. He had 9.
10 kids, 7 girls, 3 boys.
I'm gonna tell you something to him. That's a heritage.
Yeah, man.
That's a heritage.
I got the whole package. The thing of it is that I'll go on record and say this: 7 girls, 3 boys. I fathered 6 of them. The 4 of them came to me to be married. Okay. And they were very young. So I'm, next to the dad that they know.
Yeah.
So one thing, my dad, Pastor Williams.
Salute you on that.
Pastor Williams.
Good man. Good man.
He told us earlier, she's good enough to lay down with, have a baby with, you better be there to take care of that baby.
Yeah.
And if you marry a woman with kids, back in the day, you used to call them ready-made family. And but if you choose to marry a woman and she has kids, you're not only marrying that woman, but you're marrying those kids too. And we was taught that ain't no such word as step kids. I never refer to any of my children that I didn't father as step children, because steps are made to be climbed up on.
True.
Stepped on.
Never.
We don't do that. We refer to them as those are my kids.
That's a good one, bro.
That's just the way it is. I tell people out there, 10 kids, man, they about to follow. In 2022?
Yeah, right.
No help from the government. I don't need none of that.
Could you say that one more time?
No help from the government. I don't need none of that. I don't need dependent. I don't, if you need it, you need it. But I'm the type of man to where if I don't need it, and God has blessed me with a talent and wisdom, and continue to bless me with the health and strength to get up and go grind every day, then I don't need nothing from Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same way.
Just need him to lower these taxes.
Which is
especially how many years you been cleaning, and has the cleaning game been good?
Cleaning? Well, we don't do any cleaning.
Oh, you don't do no cleaning?
We do. We're general contractor.
Well,
we build and remodel.
Okay, what can you let them know what that means?
Yeah. So what we do in essence is that our company started. I give you the history. Like real quick.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
But you asked me a question that'll run right in here, so maybe I'll be able to answer both of them.
Okay. All right.
You asked me about what made me want to do it, and I told you children. I got hurt because doing some work for a company out in Gallatin that was a sister company for Peterbilt. So they did a lot of welding tasks for these bigger rigs and stuff like that. Peterbilt trucks. And I ended up getting hurt, having to go to the emergency room after picking up something heavy. Come to find out that I had 2 hernias that busted at the same time. And keep in mind, I've been on the job for a minute, man. So there's a lot of things going through my head at that time because, it was decent money, but by the time, you take child support out, but at the time, 4 or 5 kids, then I got to pay the insurance on top of it, There was many days and nights that I went home crying because, it just wasn't working. I got paychecks and didn't even open because I knew what they said. I still got one of my paychecks that was for 2 cents, meaning that the paper it was printed on was worth more than what they were, what was on the check. And that happened frequently, but I saw all the deductions that came out, child support to medical insurance, things like that. So sometimes I went to work for free, as far as having any money at the end of the week, went to work for free. But all my child support was being paid and my kids was taken care of, so I was okay with it. When you put somebody in that type of situation, then you have to have alternative income. And unfortunately, at that time, I wasn't, ready to start a business. I was trying to revert back, digress back to where I came from. Just fighting two different devils at the same time. Trying to do right and take care of my family and work 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to have $100 in gas for lunch money. And at the time, my wife taking care of all the bills in the house. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't go get the bag because I know how to do that. But at the same time, if I did that, I run the risk of, losing my life or losing my freedom, and then my kids and my wife, they have nobody. So I was fighting two devils at one time, two problems at one time. So I had this surgery, man. I had been praying for a while, not knowing it. God's got a funny way of doing things. And I popped them 2 hernias, had emergency surgery. I remember my wife coming to the hospital. When I came out of surgery, I remember telling her this right here. It's funny. I said, I need you to go and buy me a laptop because God told me to write. She said, oh, he's crazy. He's, his medicine. She woos it and got hold of me. His medicine tearing him up, because I was on the anesthesia coming out, but I was clearly serious about what I said. I need to chronicle my life. I need to write down my life, from memories from childhood up until where I was. And when I got that information, those instructions coming out of surgery, I did just that and wrote 7 books and published 4 of them. I thought those books was going to make me a millionaire. And unfortunately, the Lord spoke to my spirit again and said, you won't make a dime off of this. So what? And at this point, like, I can't go back to work right now. So at the time of 6 months off, I'm writing. I'm thinking I'm going to set myself up. The instructions came after that. You're going to write these books and you're going to give them away for free. Told me exactly how to write. You're going to put them in the form of a manuscript, a workbook. So simple as a 5th grade or a 6th grade workbook they bring home, read the stories and answer the questions, solve the puzzles. It made me chronicle my life experiences and put them in there and write the chapters, title the chapters based on what I was going through. Not knowing that I was creating a workbook to actually go and teach. I was creating a curriculum. So I took the same curriculum after I told them back to work. I was on a mission then. Took the same workbook to every judge in Davidson County. 5 of those judges, even right now, know my name, know my program, and incorporated my program into probation or community corrections. So if you was going to get probation, then you were going to have to take Mr. Lewis' 12-week program.
Bro, you gotta tell us something about that.
I might be part two. But they were so they rejected me at first.
Bro, you dropped that on us right there.
I won't do
I salute you.
I salute you on that.
Bro.
Yeah, man.
But 2 of the judges, I look at it as mentors. They're excellent. But one turned me around. This is good, Mr. Lewis, this is good, but it ain't ready. Take it back and make some tweaks to it. I had to go so far as to make sure that I had my people in drug court to come in and do assessments on these guys, bring in the right people, opponents. Man, it got so to the point where the lecture that you're back up, this lecture not there with the program. We ended up graduating, to make a long story short.
Some good people, I think.
2,000 to 3,000 people in that program. Right here in Nashville, 2,000 to 3,000 people, if not more. And then, so after that happened, man, to make a long story short, to catch back up to you guys, I was upset because the court put it on the sliding pay scale. You don't know what that means. That means they're going to base your program on what that individual can afford. So if that person is indigent, meaning that he don't have any income, he's going to go free. If that person makes a certain amount of money, he's going to be able to pay, $12 here or there. Okay. So the Lord spoke to my spirit and said, "This is why I told you you wouldn't make anything." But what I did know is I was dropping seeds in the ground for a later day. So after years of doing that, community service work, pushing this program, Pastor Brandon Williams, my little brother, partnering with me, Dr. Thomas Briggs, his wife, Dr. Briggs, Revlon Briggs, Amanda Dean, my wife, they all rallied around us, and we really, really got some serious results out of that program. Now, to answer your question of what we do now in this day, I dropped all those seeds in the ground and took a sabbatical. So I got to make some money. I got to make some money quick. So I went to work for, at the time, my wife's stepfather. He was a contractor. So it was a good contractor, but, with all due respect, it's not enough business mind behind it. You have to lack the business part of it.
No people like that.
No structure, So I had the structure to come in and set a business up and run it. And I provided that for him. And lo and behold, one day was on the job site, and I was trying to be on the fire, solve a problem.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of made him a little upset. And he referred to me as his painter. Why the hell you talking to my painter? He's just my painter. And the lady that he said it to was an investor. She had 15 projects. I didn't know this. The lady, 15 projects under contract, but she fired him. No, she didn't fire him. She said, "I don't like the way you talk to Thommy. Tommy's a job. Tommy knows what he's doing."
Right.
For him to come in to restructure your business, get you moving, you just showed him like trying to just find it. Not gonna work for me. So what she told me was that she put me to the side and said, "I got something for you." She said, "But you got to do two things for you. Can you get your business license?" "Yeah." "Can you get insurance?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because I want you to go over there and fire you."
He's a new contractor.
So I come one and say, "Hey man, I got an opportunity. This lady wants me to take over all this project, but guess what you want to do is I got to fire your stepdad. So you want me to do it for you?"
Right, sure. That's it.
Exactly what she said.
Yeah,
You want me to do it for you? What are you waiting on?
Oh, so she was with
She understood.
Yeah.
Opportunity presented itself. And so what I did was I ended up going over and said, "Man, today's your last day, man. We won't need you back on the job site. How you going to fire me off of my job site? They're not yours anymore. She's going to hire me as a contractor. I'm going to take over 15 projects. That's how I got started."
God, good. God, good.
Serious how you move. You just got to be in that position. You got to be ready for that opportunity.
He was ready.
I was ready. It was my time. Started off in a old Dodge Intrepid. I had a couple blowouts on. My kids called it the Transformer. They didn't want to ride in to pick them up from school. Mama had to go get them because Dad didn't want to go. They didn't want me to go get them. Anyway, started off with that old ragged truck. I mean, that old ragged car with all my tools in it. Going to jobs like slowly building myself up. And, it's been many years now. We're a long way away from those old Dodge Intrepid.
I see. For those that's here, we pulled up in a nice van, work van.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice, man.
That's what motivated me.
How many years now?
Man, I'm almost 13 years in the game.
Wow, that's awesome.
Almost 13 years in the game.
That's a blessing, right?
It's definitely a blessing to come from where I came from.
And still love doing it.
Still love what you do. That's what we've done some serious numbers. One of the only black contractors that has his name in the Nashville skyline. That's one of those things where you contract you want. I've renovated 13, 14 story apartments with pool houses, swimming pools don't pop up them. It's like come along.
That's a blessing, man.
Couldn't have done it without my people. I'm so humble. I know my position. I remain humble. Couldn't have done it without my people.
You need a team.
Yeah.
Get where you're trying to get.
You don't got it. You don't get it. First, the last thing I can say to all of you, I look correct. It's very, very important that you guys understand this. Listen, I don't care what you do in life. whether it's gonna start a business or you gonna just do your hobby. I'm telling you something seriously. If God ain't in it, it already failed. Let me say it one more time.
Please.
If God is not in it, it has already failed. Okay? So that's one of the things. That's the secret ingredient to anything that you want to do in life and be successful. As a builder, I have to understand something. You start with the foundation. So if God is not in the foundation, how can anything you put on top of it stand? It just simply won't. That goes for the foundation of your marriage, the foundation of your relationship with your kids, your girlfriend, whoever, in whatever situation it is. Remember that I told you, start with the foundation and make sure that God is in your foundation. He's got to be there, otherwise nothing won't sit.
Amen, amen.
Real talk. Real talk.
You know what he's talking about, y'all. 13 years of it.
13 years. 13 years, yeah. He didn't say 13 days, 13 months.
Weeks.
We got time
Years
in
now,
this thing, y'all.
growth, teamwork.
That's a
yeah.
blessing, man. That is awesome, man.
Oh, yeah. I remember you asking me about the video that I did the other day.
Yes, that TikTok. That blessed me. That TikTok I sent yesterday.
It's ironic that we do this for aspiring black
If it be, and also if I have permission, maybe to maybe show that in once I edit it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's perfect. I think it may be a good segue to where we are. But as you said, we 70s, baby.
That's it. Show this 70s, baby.
We done seen it all. What the thing y'all don't understand is that it's a blessing to be here with my brother and seeing his gray goatee and knowing that I ain't by myself.
I think I got a little more.
A little bit more.
I got a little more gray
in there, a little bit. But it's a blessing, and I consider that as a blessing for us to sit here today and have this conversation. And thank God for the platform that He's given him, so that we can have this dialogue. Because we're continuing to plant seeds even through these conversations. Each one of these podcasts, these are seeds that are being planted. And if you receive the information and wholeheartedly receive the information through these podcasts, whether I'm on it or another guest is on it, information is simply this. Information is knowledge without execution. That's all it is. The more information you collect, you begin to base informed knowledge from that. Everybody can have a certain amount of knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But until you execute the knowledge that you have, what good was it?
Say something
You see what I'm saying? You have to execute the knowledge that you get. So all the time, I'm constantly gaining information. And I think now is a good time to pretty much say this. Listen, in our black community amongst men, we all want to be apex. We all want to be alpha males.
Definitely, right.
If you all are alpha males, then how can you listen to someone?
Where's the betas, man?
You know what I'm saying? Where's the betas?
Mm-hmm.
So the truth of the matter is that sometimes, even though you're an alpha male, you still have to understand that there's another alpha male that has more experience than you.
That's true.
He may have the very keys to unlock your second, third, and fourth level. But because you won't humble yourself down to receive what another person is trying to tell you or correct you for that matter. That's another thing. We don't want to be corrected. I had to go through and endure so much constructive criticism that I had to change my mentality on it. Number one, if you're giving constructive criticism by somebody who cares about you, understand there's a difference between hating and helping.
Yes.
You understand what I'm
saying? Sir.
See, the ignorant mind is gonna, he hating on me. Yes, you hating on me. You want to hold me back. You don't want to see me do well. But the truth of the matter is that when someone tells you something that's going to benefit you in the long run, I'd rather hear constructive criticism from somebody like a friend of mine who see where I'm going and know that ain't really where I need to be headed. I'd rather them pull me to the side and say, "Now, brother, you can't do it like that. You're going to have to change it because that ain't a good look."
I tell one of my sons that the same thing you just said.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, that's the
only
way.
You. I'm telling you because I love you.
You're telling them because they love you. There's a difference between hate and help. And people who really want you to win, they're going to be right there with you. They're going to be right there with you, rooting for you to win. I ain't talking about the haters in the background. Oh, he think he's something because we done started a little bit. You think, it's always gonna be that little word, that little business, got a little band, got got a little nice house, got a little contract now. You always know the hate about the little,
little money,
little money.
We here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you get to that point where you can recognize the verbiage and language, then you know how to separate yourself. Because I would rather much so be around people say, hey man, you're doing well for yourself, but I'm expecting more.
Yeah, what you said.
That's
constructive.
I'm expecting more. This is not the plateau. You can't plateau right now. Don't be comfortable. Somebody told me a long time ago, man, it's nothing wrong with being in a place where you're resting, but don't be complacent there. Because I tell you, man, procrastination and planning out, that can be your permanent spot. When people get comfortable reaching a certain level, won't do nothing else. But you can't get to that point as a businessman or running a company. You always want to see your business grow. So therefore you can never get too comfortable. You're always gonna make sure that your business is running. Even while you sleep, your business should be making money. You should be on vacation and your business ought to be making money. What that comes with is a lot of fine tuning, going over how your procedures are. You know what I'm saying? Going over the protocol, procedures, the company policies. You're trying to simplify things to work without costing you liability and extra money. That's the job of an entrepreneur, is to simply solve other people's problems with less money as possible.
I tell one of my friends that all the time say he wants more, he's happy with his job, with a 9 to 5. I tell him, you have to do more, man. That 9 to 5, at that 5, you want to do something to 10. If you want more.
But you know what, you said something. But I tell the guys all the time when they come, they want to work for me. Some of them have experience, some of them don't have experience. But I tell them all the time, listen, the truth of the matter is this right here. I'd rather turn you into a business. I'd rather teach you a trade, and you master that craft and become your own boss. Because as long as you punch this clock and work for me on a 9 to 5, you building my dream.
Yeah.
You building my dream. I'm paying you 8 hours of your time. I'm going to exchange your time for money, and then you're going to enrich my dream. See, this is what happened to us as black men. We have gotten to it. And I don't knock 9 to 5 because everybody got to work.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
I really plead for anybody who has that entrepreneur spirit within inside of them, explore it. Explore it. Unlock that potential. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise you, the very same job that I got hurt on, I watched my boss pull up in a brand new Mercedes. I remember it was pearl white AMG kit on it, tinted windows, and that thing didn't even have a tag on it yet. I mean, man, it was so sweet. Now, I was outside smoking me a Newport at the time. I'm on the brakes, but I see him pushing. I was, man. I said, man, that's a nice car. I said, man, I'm going to give you one of them one day. I said, man, what do you do to get it? He said, pay you to work for me. Stuck with me. And he said, how you get it, man? What do you do to, say simply, I pay you to work for me.
Something I'm just gonna learn.
You know what I'm saying? And that guy, he stung me with something. He put a seed in my head, like we're trying to drop seeds in computers' head. He put a seed in my head. And I knew something then. My mentality changed then. He pulled me to the side one day, and he said, you remember that question you asked me outside? What did I do? And I told you, to get that car, he said, I told you, I paid you to work for me. He said, well, as long as you live, don't forget this time. I said, what's that? He said, you can either build my dream or start building yours. Which one you want to do?
Man, that's true.
Which one you want to do?
Yeah.
See, the comprisor of 9 to 5 is only going to allow you to pay somebody else. You're going to work to pay your rent. You're going to work to pay your bills. And all of this trading time, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, all of that trading time is for a small amount of money that has to be divided amongst so many other people. And 9 times out of 10, those so many people they don't have the same bills you do. They're gonna sit at home and find other ways to make money because they know that Tommy's got to pay rent. Tommy's got to pay the lights. Tommy's got to pay this bill, that bill. So they sit back and watch that passive income come into their household every day. Yet we work to build somebody else's dream. Well, I thought about this. Smart as I am, blessed as God has allowed me to make it through the streets of doing dumb stuff, selling dope, dodging bullets, shooting people from state to state, putting up crooked clubs and selling women's parts and things. I said, as smart as all of this wisdom and this information that I've collected over the years to navigate and do business in the streets, I know I'm smart enough to learn this corporate thing. And the truth of the matter is that running a business is no different from being in the streets. It's just one has paperwork and it becomes legal, and the other one you better not get caught.
Exactly.
It's business is business. So with that being said, I knew that I had what it took. The right conversation. Think about it. You're in the streets and you're hustling, you better have some game to sell a non-ketchup, ketchup popsicle. You better have some game to sell water to a well. So your presentation got to be on point. Well, I had the presentation, so I knew how to talk to people and conduct myself. I just needed to understand structuring and how to structure the business. Then I needed the right opportunity. Once I got opportunity, I said to myself, I'm building nobody else's dream.
That was one of my prayers, and actually to this day, is to ask God for opportunity.
Opportunity.
A lot of people I know they ask for handouts and different things like that. Want something, but that was my prayer for a long time.
That's it. Opportunity to give it to you, man. And the crazy thing about opportunity is it's reciprocated. So I promise you, God is already obviously answering that prayer. You're doing well. And I like what y'all doing. I really do. I see y'all with the drones, getting area shots of things y'all doing all the way from Nashville to Atlanta, man. It don't matter where it is. These boys know what they're doing over here. And I see y'all finished products, man. And I say to myself, I said, man, that dude right there, effective what he doing. He got them drones out there, and I thought about it, and I said to myself, that's what I'm talking about. So the opportunities that God is giving you, I tell you what the price tag on when He gives you opportunities, you have to give it back. You have to give those same opportunities to someone.
Right.
And once you do that, you're gonna be straight. So God gives me an opportunity to create a way for other young black males. I know they're not gonna limit this to just black males, but other young men, period. But if He gives me those opportunities to create those ways to lift my brothers up first and put them on game, or give them wisdom and knowledge, I'm going to give them that because God gave me them. So I'm just basically passing down the candle. Light, this is the light, man.
Freely, I don't remember the verse, but freely given, freely give.
Hey, He going to give it liberally. I mean, He going to give it without even you asking Him, man. I mean, basically, all you got to do is just ask for it. He going to give you as much as you can handle. As much as you can handle. So that's where I'm at, man. Pray to God just continue to bless us to move forward. That TikTok video was something.
It was, man. It really was.
I got a lot of hits off of that, man. I don't know if the viewers know what we're talking about.
Not yet, they don't. But they, at the end of this,
they'll get it.
Yeah, they'll get it.
I did start a lot of this thought-provoking stuff. And just to give y'all a teaser, so when Thurman upload the TikTok video, y'all going to see exactly where our mentality is and why we're trying to use this platform to enrich you.
Yeah.
A lot of black men are systematically incarcerated. And, it could be for the lack of our upbringing and the lack of resources and responsibilities and things, and, stuff that we chose. That's neither here nor there. Wherever you are in life is where you are. It's more about where you're going next. And that TikTok is basically just a plea to young black males that have felonies and don't know what to do next. I know the struggle. I know what you're going through. It's hard, you know. It's hard to made a mistake, you know, in your early 20s.
There you go.
And now that you're 45, you're still paying for, you know, the mistake that you made 15, 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
It's hard, you know. It's hard to watch a grown man that, you know, has an able body, good mind, hands, and feet, and go to work, you know, labor and stuff like that. It's hard to watch him have to go into these places and rely on his application. Right there? Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying.
It blessed me on that TikTok.
You got to go in there and you got to take a chance line. Have you ever been convicted of a felon? That's the
Did that,
most dreadful question that anybody want to answer.
You got to
make a decision. Do I lie or do I tell the truth? Because if I tell them the truth, I know it's only going to be, what, 30, 60 days before they run that background check and they come back anyway.
Yeah, you gone.
You know, during your probationary period, you gone. They're going to walk you out. No matter how much they like. I mean, you're a good guy, man. And I really hate it. I wish it was something I could do. Then you back in the same position. So they wonder why, you know, about young black men on the street, you know, selling drugs and doing all kinds of crazy stuff because there's really no other alternative. You take away all the opportunities because, you know, I've called a felony. You know, I ain't just saying you go out and catch all the felonies in the world and, you know, you get redeemed. No, that's not what I'm saying. Right. What I'm saying is that there should be some type of in between of someone that has made a mistake 20 years ago and haven't had any priors. You know, trying to live a good life, ain't had no run in. He, you know, served his time and done what years. Served his time and did what he was supposed to do. Yeah. But then they don't get those opportunities, and you put them in a corner to the point to where I don't care who you are. Ain't no man gonna sit and watch his kids go hungry. Don't care who you are.
Say that again.
Ain't no man. No. You know, I'm going to the woods. Thank God I'm a country boy. I'm gonna plug a rabbit, plug a deer. I'm gonna do everything I can to take care of that baby. But the thing is, we in the city. Who hunting around here? Only places you gonna hunt is on that concrete. You're gonna get the bag. You're gonna get the bag. Even if that means taking a chance to catch another felony on top of the one that you got. So it's a hard situation for young black males to be in. But the solution is very simple. If they like to check them Social Security numbers, then another number.
Bro, you said something. If you would tell viewers an EIN, we used to call Fed ID number, and you know, and once you do make a felony, your Social Security number, and I don't want to talk too much about the TikTok, nothing like that. You know, I'm gonna show it, but you know, once you know your name and your social is all messed up, if you could explain to them about an EIN, you can make it. Yeah. Okay.
So what it is that, you know, I taught this in those classes in the curriculum that we created, and all it is that, man, you know, you have to change your identity. And if you already messed up one way, and you know you're not gonna be redeemed from it, ain't gonna forgive you. No. Then you have to change your identity. Because all a business is an identity. You know, so if your Social Security number is messed up and you're tired of being fired every 5 minutes, you know, you're tired of being fired every time you go get a job, then first thing I can advise you to do is find out what you can do that somebody will pay you for. Because that's a talent. I truly believe God established and made every man on the face of this earth knowing that he was going to have to toil the ground, toil the soil. That means you're going to have to work. So that's why you got carpenters. That's why you got, you know, writers. That's why you got so many different occupations and trades out there. God gave every man a talent. Some paint, some sing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some build houses, some start businesses.
Some clean toilets.
You know, some do everything.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, you got to take that talent and that thing that you have perfected and be so good at it that someone is willing to pay you. So if you out there and you're a painter, you're a drywaller, you may be out there and don't have any skills about none. I advise you to get around somebody with the wisdom and the knowledge, because if they have it, soak it all up. Intellectual property they can't take from you. Intellectual property is what your mind has created, what your mind owns. And the mind possesses skills. So my hands became my way out. The ability to see that wall and past it and what's inside of it is the skill that I possess. I can tell you how many metal studs is on that building. I can say metal because this is commercial. So I know that very, very, very likely there's metal in the walls instead of lumber, depending on when it was built. So collecting that wisdom and knowledge over time and executing it made me able to see results. So whatever you are trying to do out there, get around somebody that can mentor you, teach you, and grow that thing that you're good at into mastering. And once you've mastered it, okay, nobody put a price tag on what you're offering it for. You know, much rather be the one to say, I'll do it for this, than someone tell me I'm gonna give you this to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to put my own number on it. Don't tell me what my skill is worth. Let me be fair about it.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody gonna be able to tell me how much money I can make in 8 to 10 hours a day. Why put a limit on that? You know, 8 to 10 hours a day. Somebody can honestly tell you exactly this is all you're limited to make it today. No, I'd rather tell you what I want today.
I got that. I definitely got that. Yeah,
so,
I got that.
So with that being said, then, you know, you have to change your identity. Find out what you're good at. Structure that thing. Create a business. It can be simple as a DBA. That's doing business as. That's the first less. Yeah, that's the less. That's the first business license normally people are gonna get is DBA. Doing business as. You can put on there that Turtle Tent Shop. Doing business as Thommy. See, because now when I present myself, I don't present myself as Thommy with the messed up social and the felony. Now I present myself as Turtle's Tent Shop.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? I'm a whole different entity now. So when you would run my background to let me do a job for you, now you view the company because the company comes with something called insurance. It's insured. Yeah. So people are willing to take more of a gamble with a licensed, insured, and bonded company versus someone that just coming in and saying, I can do this, I can do that. So it's important to have the structure, the insurance, and the EIN number, because the EIN number becomes your new social for your business. So humans are assigned a social security number. Businesses are assigned EIN numbers. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you can't excel as the human, I strongly advise you to start a business and become your business, because the same business is treated just like a human. It is birthed. It has to grow. You got to be nurtured. You got to feed it. You got to present that thing to people. You know how people come out, this is my new baby. You got a new girlfriend? This is my new girlfriend. And look at it, y'all. Your business got to be the same thing when you take her out. You got to look good. You got to look good. You got to have the insurance on. I dare you touch it. No, you do that. That's the insurance on your business. You can treat your business just like you treat a baby or a fine woman that you in love with. That's how you're going to do it. Because eventually when you get good at it, guess what happens? Cars go into company names. Okay? You're going to learn, we'll do part 2 on this one. Teach you about Dun and Bradstreet.
Ooh, you said, yeah, Dun and Bradstreet.
Cars go in company names. Houses, apartments go in company names. I can prove it to you. A company can go and lease an apartment because he may have out-of-town guests come in and don't want to put them up in a hotel room. Therefore, you got a lease on it for 12 months, being that you had a felony, but they wouldn't rent you an apartment. Now your business just got you one for you to stay in. All you got to do is make sure somebody stay there that's business related at least twice a year. Come spend the night with me. We'll drink one. I get out, go home, because I got to go to sleep. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like that.
It's our business. So that's one of the things I think we need to explore, and maybe hold some workshops. Because you won't get all of this in a TikTok video or a podcast. Because I don't want to give anybody a false hope, any information, and say that it's just that easy. Because you're going to have to put the work in. And it ain't just a get out of jail free card or I got an EIN now, this is me.
Right.
One of the most serious things that I will say, Herman, big bro, I'm gonna tell you something, is that when you choose to start that business, be for real about it. Because people are going to scrutinize your business like they scrutinize you being a felon. So you can't, I'm looking at the camera to tell y'all guys this, ladies, this. You cannot be halfway out of the streets and in the business office. See what I'm saying? It ain't gonna never work. I say it one more time. You can't be in the streets halfway and in the office halfway. It's either you're gonna be in the streets or you're gonna be in your business growing your business, but you cannot mix the two. See what I'm saying?
Somebody get that.
You can't mix the two. You can't even network with other people who are not out of that lifestyle because they're gonna bring that to your thing that you got going on. And networking in the business world, as you know, you ain't nothing without networking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things. It's so hard for black people to do is network because we always feel like I don't want him to get bigger than me. I ain't gonna give him this wisdom. I ain't gonna give him that plug. Right. Well, I mean, I ain't never seen nothing that stupid in my life.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? I would rather network with anybody who is like-minded like me. Well, man, you talk to the phone. What I said? I said, man, look at here. I'm gonna be coming up on some projects. I'm gonna throw you every last one of them.
Sure did. I'm glad you remember that. Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago.
As a
matter of fact, you even called me on and put me up on the job.
So
you put me on the job.
Yeah, because I think the reason I say that is because what sense is it for me to hold back your money or your opportunity?
What
am I gonna do if I haven't mastered what you guys do? I'd be selfish to stand in the way of you getting that opportunity. Because the same opportunity is going to come around to me because you might be working with somebody in one of these offices, one of these homes. They got something they need towed out and fixed. I got the right guy for you. You call Mr. Lewis right now.
We don't do it. Yeah.
We don't do that. Call Mr. Lewis. He got you. Yeah. You know, but that's how you help each other grow. And until we get to that point to where, you know, we don't mind seeing each other grow, it's not enough. I got so much I want to say. Y'all forgive me, but we gotta get to a point where we okay with celebrating with other people when they're successful. That's serious. We gotta get to a point where we okay with that. Because a lot of people are not okay with it. You know, I want to be the type of person where, man, we catch up with each other. Hey, man, I did this, I did that, man, and God is blessing. I want to see what that's gonna do is fuel me. You know what I'm saying? My brother's sticking with this thing. He grinding with this thing. I ain't the only one going through these low spots and these high spots and low spots.
We go through them too, man.
We go through them together.
See, like right now, we off right now.
See, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have some slow down time, man. Oh, man.
We've been out for 10, 9 this morning.
See, that's a blessing, though, man. There's going to be some folks ain't going to get out at 6:30 and fight traffic to get home.
You're right, yeah. Right. We love them days too. We love them days too. Yeah.
I know that's right, man.
We love them days too, man. I think Wednesday gonna be a nice little day for us.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna win.
Oh yeah. Any more questions y'all got, man? Y'all got me here. Y'all got me.
Let Mr. Glees. Next question. Yes, sir.
I didn't talk so much.
Hey, brother, that's not. It's a few questions I can't even ask because you hit them. You hit them. One of the hobby, and while Mr. Glees getting his, the hobby, you touched on that, and that's one of the questions I was going to ask about a hobby. You know, because that could be the start of a business. Hobby, EIN number, Duns and Bradstreet, and go from there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand that, man. You know, I see people all the time, man. You know, and see, all right, I'll tell you this. So, usually what I consider hobbies is basically a business and training.
Okay.
Because see, you're really just doing it as a hobby, but you notice, like, say for instance, the barber that don't have a license, but He the kitchen barber.
We all had
We
that
all
buddy.
grew up with him,
We
right?
all grew, yeah. We
Had a
all
set of
grew
clippers
up.
and cut you up. You look better than you came out of the barber shop.
Had a guy about two houses down.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You did it as a hobby. You might drop about $5-10 here.
Yeah.
But then when the skill got perfected, how many 25, 30?
Oh yeah.
Because you're not paying for the hobby, you're paying for the skill.
There you go.
So the hobby turns into a business. See what I'm saying? So it's a hobby is just business and training. All the way from the young lady who braids hair in the living room watching shows.
That's it.
She's so wicked with it, you know what I'm saying? She gets you tight, the cornrows, the dreads, the locks, all of that. When she's doing it at home and getting a little few tips here and there, a little bit of money here and there, all that's a hobby and training. That's a business and training. At that point, until she takes that hobby to getting that LLC or that DBA, all it is training. She's perfecting her craft. And once you master that craft, you put a price tag on it.
Price tag. I hope young folks, or middle-aged folks, older folks, put a price on that hobby.
Put a price on that hobby. Told you got to find what you do best. That you can charge people for. People willing to pay because you do it best. And that's where your money is.
That's it. Okay. Who was your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter?
Yes, sir.
Man, I'd say I've got a few, but I think I say I got a few. So I'll answer this way. Male-wise, my biggest supporter would be my brothers, Deacon Lewis, Malcolm.
I know him.
Special kind of guy. He sat on the porch with me one day. I was in that green machine at Dodge and Kirk, sitting out on the porch, little Transformer. I was sitting in the Transformer. I got up and sat on the porch, and then people out there. He said, "What's wrong, bro?" You know how I feel. He was like, "Man, don't worry about it. God gonna bless you." Tom already said, "You have a truck, you gonna have a trailer, you gonna have a van, you gonna get an office." This is when I ain't had nothing but that Dodge and 15 projects trying to figure out how I'm going to get them done. Everything that man told me came
true. I've never seen your brother down or anything. Everything that he has said to me has been encouraged.
He already seen it.
He already seen it.
And he's also on TikTok too.
He's a trip.
He's also on TikTok too.
He's a trip. He makes some faces that I said, man, you gonna have to go see Miss Beach and get them dreads done. You can't just be on there like that, bro. I get tickled. I don't restrain it. Most people don't know. My brother born with a disability, speech impediment problem. And they say all the time, man, you don't restrict him. And I said, nah, I want him to be as free as he wants to be. I want him to be able to express himself, even if he has to work on, getting the pronunciation right, and because in restricting him and trying to correct him every 5 minutes may be a way that shuns him the way he does not want to try. But the more he tries it, and the more I say, yeah, but if you said it like this, it'll be better, So it's one of the things where, to be honest with you, hey man, let me tell you something. That man say less and means more.
Yeah. Okay. If you knew him, you will understand what you just said.
That man say, if he say less, and it means more. The less he say, the more powerful it is. And I promise you that. I say we've been here in this podcast. We're gonna have some good content. But man, I tell you what, I done got more out of a paragraph than him. And he stopped talking. He encouraged. Give up. He encouraged this part when he give it up. Simple. It's happening because God wants it to. You can't stop it. Keep going. Keep encouraged. It's a simple thing,
Yeah.
So he's one of my biggest supporters. It's all things that I didn't see. Reminded me that they were coming, and they came. And my wife and my kids would be the next biggest supporter because they watch me. They watch me come out of the streets. My wife watched me literally take my life, and people say, "Oh, you did a 360." No, I didn't. Don't put that lie on me.
I'm glad to hear you say family.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't say their family's biggest support. You said your brother, man. That was real deep right there.
Brother's one of my biggest supporters.
You're a good brother. Real good brother.
My wife telling me that, she watched me do a 180. And for you people don't understand why I say I ain't did no 360, because if I did a 360, that means that I'm gonna end up in the same place that I started from. I did a 180. I completely turned on what I was doing and started something else. I did a 180. When you do a 360, it's a complete turn. That means if I'm doing bad right here and I decide to do a 360, I'm gonna do bad, start doing good, and then I'm gonna do bad again. It's a whole, you know what I'm saying? It's a cycle, a whole circle. I don't want to be in a repetitive circle. I want to do a 180. That means I want to do an about face. I want to go from doing bad and bam, change directions. I'm struck off somewhere else. See what I'm saying? You need to do a 360 to change your life. Yeah. How long is the change going to be for? I need to do a 180. I had to do a 180 on my attitude. I had to do a 180 on my thought process. I had to do a 180 on accountability as a man and a father. I had to look at myself in the mirror and own my own. I had to own my own.
So important.
I had to own it. These ain't nobody problems but mine. Ain't nobody else supposed to take care of my wife. Ain't nobody supposed to take care of my kids. Ain't nobody supposed to pay for these mistakes I made. I can argue and be mad about paying child support and women getting on my nerves all I do it, all day. But the fact of the matter is they mine. So I had to own that responsibility that ain't nobody else's obligation but mine. Now I knew I couldn't pay them with a 2-cent paycheck, so I had to start doing some things to change my trajectory where I wanted to go. And I knew I couldn't make enough money on a warehouse salary to take care of all them kids. So I had to rely on that God-given talent and perfect it and wait for the opportunity. Execute it, and we go. So that's who, they were my biggest supporters because they had faith in Dad. Dad was going to build something out of nothing. Yeah, that was it. Real talk. I can't make this up, could have done.
No, that's a blessing, brother. Yeah. Like I said, I know it came from the streets, came from church, and like you said, the 180.
The 180.
180. Definitely 180.
That's real talk.
You don't want to do 360.
I don't want to do no 360.
No, you don't want to do 360. You're going to come right back. You're going to be right back
to the wall.
You run to the wall.
Hey, man. I mean, seriously, man. If I did some 360s, man, I can think of a lot of places.
I don't know some 360s, too. I don't know some 360s.
Hey, we wouldn't even be here with this podcast right now, man.
What you said, we
wouldn't even be here on this platform, bro.
We would.
So I thank God for the wisdom to understand that, it's the concept, it's the mind, it's how you perceive things, and just the courage to go out here. We gotta have courage to be out here as black entrepreneurs, man. You gotta have courage, man. And I'm gonna be honest and say this right here. It takes a special type of person to wake up one day and say, I ain't going back to work.
It does.
Wild.
It does.
That's unnerving, ain't it? In your stomach. When you can walk away. My sister Erica, I'm gonna plug her. You deserve this.
She's doing some big stuff. I'm not Facebook friends with, but I see her tag. She's doing some big things, man.
My sister Erica, man, has got a company called Know That. Y'all download Know That. NODAT. Know That. And she's in the tech world, man. But I watched her walk away with AT&T. And she 5-6 figure, career. And she struck out and followed her gut, man. I started a tech company. Now she's speaking. Now she's doing I got to plug on investors. Invested in the company. Amazon invested in the company. You see, it takes a certain amount of nerve, right, to make you uncomfortable with your situation to force you into doing something else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when we get to that point to where God will make us uncomfortable, and you gotta watch what you pray for and be specific. Man, let me say this right here, y'all. You gotta be specific in your prayers when you asking God for something, because He will give you exactly what you ask Him for. But if you ain't careful to understand what you asking, you know what I'm saying? and know what you're gonna do when He give it to you. Well, a lot of times, the reason why God don't answer those prayers is because He know you ain't studied, you ain't weighed the cost, you ain't fully evaluated what you're asking Him for. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people pray, I pray to God to make me a millionaire. Well, God made you a millionaire and you don't understand finances, and He did it for nothing. You might kill yourself because you don't understand that type of money, that type of access. Because see, when you're a millionaire, it ain't just going down the street after work and get you a bottle of Parmesan or a bottle of, you know what I'm saying, a bottle of Patron, Casamigos, whatever you drink. When you're a millionaire, you have access to so much other stuff. Things that people can put you on to think, no, we don't do this, we do that. You got to try this, you got to try that. You're not accustomed to that. And you can afford it, it's right there at your fingertips. So sometimes God knows that answering certain prayers will be our demise. It'll literally be the end of us. So I don't pray that God makes me a millionaire. I pray that God gives me the opportunity to make not only myself wealthy, but other people around me. I don't put a tag on how much money I want to make. I want the opportunities to come to where everybody that comes in contact, everybody around me begins to prosper. See, wealth is not, wealth is truly, it's not money. It's the same money that we that they printing is worthless. It's worthless. Money holds no value. And when you really understand that money holds no value, you will really truly understand what's really valuable in your life. That's your family. That's the people around you that love you. That's wealth. You know, when you wake up and people concerned about you, you can't pay for that. You can't pay for that. Not true concern, you know. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Man, bro, what's going on with you, man? You gonna be alright? You know, people who love you enough to, man, you slipping. You need to hold up, man. We ain't rocking like that. That's wealth. Kids that grow up and do well because of the example that you provide. You know, hold your daughters hold their new boyfriends and soon to be husbands to a high standard and raise the bar. Soon to be husbands. She will measure him by the example that you showed her when she was growing up by treating her mama a certain way. That's wealth.
You're saying something up, bro.
Amen. You don't believe me? Look at the opposite way. The same husband who go home with the wife beat on, play the games, the video games all day, and let his wife go to work. Now watch his son and daughter evaluate how he is. Now when he becomes 16, 17 years old, it's sitting at home, expecting the gal to do something for you. He ain't seen nothing. Why do you think most young black men go out here and get it by any means necessary to provide for the woman they love? Same reason. They grew up in a household watching their mama struggle. So the very first thing that's in that young man's head is this right here. I gotta go get it for her. And she ain't gonna want for nothing. So that's why we take those penitentiary chances. When the rapper get on and get his $1 million contract, what's the first thing he gonna do? Buy his mama what? A house. Systematically, this thing is entwined in our heads, and I want to be able to do more. And maybe we'll do a part 2 on this thing.
Please. 2, 3.
2, 3. I want to do more. Exactly. I mean, you got to. That's the mindset, because it's so much that we got to teach these young men, man. That it's absolutely crazy, man. You know. Yeah. I'll put this in their ear so they'll log on to part 2. They're gonna want part 2. Yeah. We're gonna put this in their ear, big brother. Part 2, we're gonna make sure we go through this right here. But the reason for mentorship and surrounding yourself with other people who know more than you, have more than you, this is not a competition. What I'm saying, you have to, you got to select the right mentor, the person that has more than you. Because if he has more than you, that means he has more knowledge. He navigated to a certain point to obtain more. So I want to attach myself to people who have more, who have access. You know, I don't want to be going out with my friends and I got to pay the tab. I don't even want to go out with my friends and they pull out a horse chunk of money in their pocket and paying the tab with, because if it's all you got, if not just other team, if you pull out a horse chunk in your pocket, it's one of the things I learned early on doing dirt.
it.
If you pull a horse trunk out of your pocket, number one, you're drawing attention. Number two, that's probably all the money you got.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, when I start hanging around the right people, I got this. They don't pay with cash unless they tipping the waitress and don't want the government to take the tip.
Seriously.
But they pull out cards. Everybody who I want to go out with and surround myself with is swiping cards. Not walking around with, $10, $30, $20,000 in their pocket like these rappers do and these dope boys do. Too much attention, man. I want to surround myself with people who carry themselves a certain way. Number one, find the right mentor.
You said something. I want to say, I know I've spoken to you about my big. You met Andre Brinson before, the guy at the floor we did. Thrift store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clark.
Yeah. I got a brother. He's definitely Andre Brinson. He's also Men of Valor. I don't know if those
I've heard of that.
Men of Valor. Yeah. Matter of fact, our governor right now, Bill Lee. He's a volunteer.
That's all right, man.
And he used to tell us, you need somebody that's doing better than you.
Yeah.
Respectfully. And someone that you can. Maybe not doing what you're doing that's under you. I don't want to say under you, but you get what I'm saying.
Ain't where you are.
And not where you are. That you can teach. You need to be taught and you need to teach someone.
Pass it on, man.
Pass it on. Same time.
It's simple, just like that, man. And we go through it all the time. I mean, why is it that why is it that Thurman, Big Bruh has got this platform going, that know that the information and the knowledge needs to be out there, but it won't be shared. It won't be commented on. It won't be liked. It won't be passed on. But I guarantee you, watch this right here. The same information we're trying to give these young people. Watch what the industry has done. See, I've seen this thing for what it is. Y'all can be like, man, he's telling the truth because it's real. When we were coming up, there were CDs that we listened to that helped us be the man that we are.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Too Short taught you how to get it out of a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't learned that from my dad.
Yeah.
I learned that from Too Short.
Right. You right.
Easy and Dre and Yellow and you know what I'm saying?
Cash Money No Limit was one of my things. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All them groups and they taught you how to go in the streets and you know what I'm saying, raise hell.
Yeah.
They taught you that. KRS-One and all of them taught you about being lit, being awoke, conscious minded. They taught us that. And now to this very same day, record industry. And I tell you what, they martyr people and stuff like that. But the rest of the record industry pay these little boys $10 million to put a recipe behind a tight beat. And that same recipe is how to go out here and pull your Draco, you know what I'm saying, and shoot this person up and pull this lick off and this, that. But with these young boys are listening to that. And the same lyrics becomes mentorship. It becomes information. And without the right structure, they go out here and they execute it, and then they're stuck in the same situation that's going to get the felony or get them life in prison or 6 feet under the ground. But the same type of information that we're trying to give them, it's because it don't have a tight track on it.
Right.
Nobody pay no attention to it. They don't know what you're talking about. It's foreign. So we got to try to bridge that gap and maybe that's what we'll get together and work on. We know music. Music we go. Get some good producers. We'll put some tight tracks together, and then we'll play some tight tracks. Do some of this to keep the attention span focused on what we're trying to give you. So if it's on us to repackage the information that we're trying to give out, we'll go behind closed doors and work the bugs out. We'll figure out a way to grab these young people's attention with the same type of recipe that the music industry has. You got to put a DJ in the background and mix up and scratch a little bit to get your attention while we're having these conversations. Let's do it. They do it on Drunk Kings, don't they?
Yeah, that's something I watch. I watch his podcast.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
They do it on them podcasts. Drink champs. Yeah, they do it on that. Yeah. And then they get paid to have all the liquor out there.
Yeah, well, you got Puff Daddy, so it's endless. Yeah.
So y'all blessed me today.
You blessed us. You blessed us, bro. You blessed us, bro.
I'm soaking a whole lot of you now.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
more than welcome, man. More
You
than
got
welcome.
anything you want to say?
Straight,
Good, bro?
Yeah.
If you were to say, if you would tell us last about your business and how to find you
All right.
and all your information that you want, yeah, please.
Hey, y'all, really easy to find, man. Y'all gonna see the morning white vans outside. Square footage.
And I like your logo, man.
Oh, yeah, bro.
It got a little similarity,
Yeah, it do on those.
yeah. So, I mean, not on my head, but I think on this, yeah.
Y'all gonna see these orange and white vans running around Nashville, square footage, maintenance, and remodeling. Remember, guys, y'all contact us for all of your maintenance needs throughout the house. You got a grandma, single mama, elderly family members that can't get to the roof and get small things done around the house. Our company's a good fit for you. If you're an investor or something like that, and you got houses that you want to remodel, put some equity in the house and charge top dollar as Nashville is doing. Everything is high. It's expensive here.
Yeah.
We're definitely the go-to people for that. So we specialize in remodeling houses, things like that. But y'all can find us on the web at squarefootageremodeling.com. You can contact the office at 615-562-7607. Hit us up and call us. We'll come out and see what we can get done for you. Looking to see y'all. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank y'all for joining us. Clean Freaks Podcast, Thurman.
Mr. Glee.
We out.
Yeah.
Bless you, bro.
Y'all good with it?
Yeah.